Well, we haven't been in here in a long time. This is the early girl. I picked, I'd say, half a dozen tomatoes off of it. And for some reason, now they look like cherry. They never did get that big, but things that are grown in pots don't really get that big. And there's something on here, but I can't find it because there's telltale damage. And the cages are gone, which I should have left them on because they ate the top off of my Cuda. And that's a poor, miserable looking chamomile. And it got so hot in here, all the little seedlings died except for the asparagus and some grass. But I'd say a quarter of the fig cuttings made it. Then we have squash of some sort, tomatoes. I'm just leaving everything here. I'm not worried about them. If they grow, they grow. I have picked tomatoes. This is the clump of basil. Somebody was supposed to come and pick up these other 2 clumps. They haven't showed up yet. So I keep bringing them in and having caprese salad with them, with my fresh tomatoes. Oh, by the way, do any of you freeze cheese? And when you thaw it out, you have lots of problems with it crumbling and not being able to be sliced or grated? Well, when you take it out of the freezer, put it on the counter and let it sit overnight. Let it completely thaw out. Don't let it thaw out in the refrigerator. Let it thaw out on the counter so it gets warm. Then it goes back to the consistency of cheese. It's no longer separating in curds and whey. And you can slice it and grate it. It may fall apart a little bit, but not nearly as much as if you thaw it in the refrigerator. I see telltale signs. I think this is my tarragon, but it doesn't really have any flavor. There's bugs out here somewhere. But this is my poor greenhouse hothouse oven that cooks everything with its lace roof and the lace umbrella. And that tomato's going out the roof. I turn the camera on and it shuts up. I can't see you. That's not a familiar sound. Anybody know what kind of bird makes that kind of a sound? That is a tall tomato plant, or plants. Too bad it's not putting on tomatoes to equal its height. But I do have some nice figs over there. And there's my cornfield. Dagnabbit. Should have picked it yesterday. Well, I'm going to pick that one and that one. Oh, that one's been chewed on. Sheesh. They're eating everything. Look at that. They ate the whole top out of that tomato. The thing is, if they're too green, they're hard to pick. Especially with a reacher grabber. Look, they ate the whole half of it. They ate the half out of that one. Those are rats. How do you get a rat trap up in a tomato plant? You don't. That's the first time I've had rats eat my tomatoes like that. They've tasted them, but not totally eaten them like that. Well, I'm bringing this one in too. And I've seen wasps a half a dozen times, so I need to go in before they decide I'm tasty. Oh, the joys of gardening. All that roaring you hear are 3 different fans trying to get the house cooler. But I haven't seen one of those guys in a couple of months. That looked like a young'un also.